Today's topic is the Supreme Court cases regarding the Fourth Amendment in the digital age and their impact on our lives. But before we go there, what even is a Supreme Court or Fourth Amendment? The Supreme Court is the highest and final level of judging in all court cases. Court cases are submitted, and if 4 of the 9 Supreme Court justices feel the importance of the case, it will be declared as a Supreme Court case. The Fourth Amendment is the right of people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures. So basically, without warrant, any officer or agent really could search your house, phones, files, etc. as evidence against you, of course. That is in fact illegal.
But the real question is, what is the extent of the Fourth Amendment? One of many examples the Fourth Amendment has been challenged is in the Supreme Court case United States v. Jones. Jones was arrested for drug possession after the police attached a tracker on the back of Jones' Jeep without a warrant. Jones was protected under the Fourth Amendment due to the lack of justification for the police having 24-hour surveillance on Jones without a warrant. Another case is Riley v. California. David Riley and his friends opened fire on other gang members while driving by on August 2nd, 2009. 20 days later, on August 22nd, Riley got pulled over for driving a car with an expired registration tag. Before the car was impounded, the police did a car search and located 2 firearms in the vehicle. His phone was used to determine his affiliation with gangs, and the police found out that Riley was tied to the previous shooting on August 2nd. Riley was put on trial after a search of his phone by the police that did not have a warrant. We are currently in the midst of a technological revolution. Drones, digital cameras, aircrafts, and even satellites are recent additions to the Fourth Amendment that create concerns with the privacy of Americans. These technologies must be careful not to intrude on quote-unquote persons, houses, places, and effects. For an amendment to be around for about 225 years, can today's censoring-enhancing technology influence a search and seizure?
This was due to a case of Kylo versus the United States, when an interior agent used a thermal imaging device to scan Kylo's triplex to determine if he was growing marijuana. Heat traces did leave the agent enough information to gather a warrant from a judge to search Kylo's triplex. The agent was indeed correct, and Kylo faced a drug charge. Ouch. During the case, the Court of Appeals said Kylo had no privacy and that the evidence technically only showed hot thermal spots.
According to Justice Antonin Scalia, the government uses a device that is not in general public use to explore details of a home that would previously have been unknowable without physical intrusion. The surveillance is a search and is presumptively unreasonable without a warrant. This was ruled unconstitutional. Now, let's take a look at how the Fourth Amendment applies to students in the digital age. There are some limits to the Fourth Amendment. Typically, children in schools do not have a Fourth Amendment right because the school officials have the legal authority to search through a child's phone or belongings without probable cause. An example of this is when taking official tests such as any AP exams, SATs, ACTs, etc. Devices are restricted and can be confiscated and looked through for investigation of cheating. So yeah, avoid using your phones at school when it's not permitted. Another question many are confused about are the use of social media in a court case. Since Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter are on my phone, they can't search it, right? Wrong. During the 60s and 70s, a rule of probable cause was implemented. This allowed the authorities to bypass the need of a warrant to obtain personal information that has previously been shared with others. This means that the government is allowed to look through any information shared with companies such as banks, phone services, car insurance, and of course, your public posts on social media. They can be used against you to determine your location or time of action during a crime. In conclusion, this right was important to the founding fathers, and it is now even more important to students in the digital age. People have the fundamental right to have private photos and messages stored on personal devices. The Fourth Amendment is insanely important and is vital to having our innovative society today. Thank you.